When I mentioned excitement for my brother's wedding tomorrow, my aunt said, "It was last week," showing me family photos without me. Brother and parents laughed. "Didn't we tell you?" A month later when they rang me about stopped renovation payments, I simply replied, "Didn't I tell you? Update 1, I never meant to invite you. We don't want you here." That's what my only brother said. My only brother's wedding. The once-in-a-lifetime family event, and I learned I was excluded. My name is Samantha. For some reason, I was often the only one left out of family gatherings. I always gave them the benefit of the doubt. They probably just forgot. I'd tell myself, "It's nothing personal." I held on to that thought for far too long. Maybe part of me believed that if I just stayed useful and kind, they'd eventually notice me again. Last year, they skipped my birthday dinner entirely. All I got was a short text from my mother. "Happy birthday, Samantha." No emoji, no warmth. Only Aunt Hillary was on my side. She'd call sometimes, and ask the one thing no one else did. "Don't you feel lonely?" She was the only one who seemed proud when I left home and built my own career. The rest of the family dismissed my job in digital marketing as just messing with computers. They had no idea I have been financially successful. I never bragged, and they never asked. So when an invitation to Thomas's wedding arrived last month, I couldn't believe it. Printed on thick cardstock in gold lettering, it read, "You are cordially invited to the wedding of Thomas Anderson and Lucy Gale." The date was May 15th, set in an upscale garden in the city, with a reception to follow at a lakeside resort. My hands trembled with excitement. I thought this was a sign. I spent weeks picking out a breathtaking dress, and the perfect gift. I booked a hair appointment, got my nails done. For years, I'd only wanted one thing: to be acknowledged, to be useful, to be needed, and finally I thought that moment had come. I believed this invitation would thaw the ice between me and my family, that I would finally be welcomed, that I would finally be seen. I had no idea how wrong I was. The day before the wedding, I drove to Aunt Hillary's house, my heart light. I wanted to show her the surprise gift I planned to give my brother at the wedding. When I arrived, she seemed slightly startled, but welcomed me warmly as always. "I can't wait for tomorrow," I said, hugging her with excitement, but there was a trace of sadness in her eyes, a hint of guilt. "How have you been, Samantha? Would you like some coffee?" she asked, and led me to the living room, and I could hear the tension in her voice. On the coffee table was an unfamiliar photo album. While she was in the kitchen preparing coffee, I opened it without thinking. Inside were familiar faces, my entire family smiling in a beautiful garden. "Aunt Hillary, what's this from?" I asked, as she came back with a coffee tray. I noticed her hands were trembling slightly. "Oh, Thomas's wedding last weekend," she faltered. "Samantha, I wanted to tell you. I tried to call, but I couldn't find the courage." My heart stopped. "The wedding." She sat beside me and took my hand. "You thought it was tomorrow, didn't you?" I couldn't believe what they did either, giving you the wrong date on purpose. I protested. "I told Thomas and your parents this was cruel." My voice trembled, but I got the invitation. "I've been preparing." Anger flared in Hillary's eyes. "They excluded you intentionally." I almost didn't go because of it, but in the end, I went, and thinking of you, I feel so deeply sorry. I picked up the album again, and flipped through the pages. Everyone was there. A gorgeous garden ceremony, fairy lights, champagne glasses, everyone dressed to the nines. Even distant relatives I hadn't seen in years were there. There were vows, speeches, dancing, and group photos. This wasn't some small private event. This was a real wedding, my only brother's wedding, a once-in-a-lifetime family event. My face burned, and my mouth went dry like desert sand. "I need to confirm this," I said, standing up. Hillary held my hand tightly. "Samantha, wait, before you confront them, just know you're strong. You always have been. But this was cruel. You shouldn't go alone. I'll come with you." I took a deep breath. "Thank you, Aunt Hillary, but this is something I have to do myself." She nodded. "All right, but whatever happens, I'm always on your side. I always have been. I always will be." Empowered by her words, I got in my car, and drove toward my parents' cottage. My mind was spinning, and my heart was in chaos. Without Aunt Hillary's steady support, I don't think I could have been this strong. She was the only one who ever acknowledged how isolated I'd been in the family, the only one who sometimes raised her voice against it. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.